Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I see we got three people were waiting when we first started this. Move this back, turn this down a bit. The lighting's so totally different when I do this, from the computer instead of from my GoPro and everything. So it all looks a little bit weird. So can everybody see me okay? Yes, thank you, honey. Appreciate it. How you guys doing today? Hey Jason, how you doing? Zip Tie Securement, go over and check out Zip Tie Securement's Facebook page or YouTube page. I'm sorry. Oh, well, happy birthday. I usually work on my birthday too, unless it happens to be the weekend. As you can see, though, I'm at home, so. So, guys, for those of you who've been following, I've been doing music trivia, regular trucking music trivia, and Tony Justice trivia. For those of you who don't know who Tony Justice is, go check him out. At the end of every video, I've been asking a question, and so I've been having the answer on the Facebook page, but on this one, I will be doing the questions here, and then you'll actually answer them on here, and the first person to answer will get entered into the drawing to win 5 bull snot products. They're actually up here on the shelf behind me, and so I think we're up to 6 now. 5. Hi, Mitchell. How you doing? In fact, Mitchell Clark is the one that's clearing up on it here because he's got 3 entries. And my Tony Justice question today is going to be, in fact, I'm going to have 2 Tony Justice questions today. How about that? And they're going to be about what just happened on his live. So if you saw the live, then you obviously got a way better chance of answering the question. But before that, we're going to talk about what's going on with Werner, and I'll just, give a little bit of time in case anybody else wants to get in here and see this. But actually, you know what? I'll give a little bit of background about this. So I've done a couple of videos recently about nuclear verdicts from different companies. And hi, Dad. Life on the Road with 3 Dogs is my dad. But I've done a few videos on here recently about nuclear verdicts. One was with Wabash, who had a $490 million verdict against them because somebody drove under their trailer when it was 20 years old. And the trailer did at the time meet safety regulations and still does today. And of course, that's going to get appealed, and that's going to be held up in, all kinds of courts for a long time. And in the end, the lawyers are going to be the only ones that make money, which is the case with this Werner verdict. There was another one after that. Daimler Chrysler, who owns Freightliner, was sued, and a truck driver rolled over his truck. And they said that the reason that he owed the money, or that Daimler was at fault, is because when he rolled over, the seat went up, because now he's upside down. It's an air seat. The seat went up as the roof was coming down, and there should be something to protect that. And that was, I forget what the price was, but that was ridiculous. But this one is with Werner, and I never actually covered this story because it happened back in 2014. The accident happened. But I'll explain what happened here leading up to this accident. So the driver had only been driving, he actually had been driving for less than a month. He had just gotten his CDL. But actually, I don't totally think that should play into anything here. So he actually had his trainer was sleeping. Now remember, he trained with Werner, so he had his permit But then he got his license, and then they send him back out. I think it's for 6 weeks with a trainer. And now Werner has a thing where I don't know. Even if you're on a permit, the person could be sleeping, but it's Werner and CR England that have that they're allowed to do that. I don't agree with that. But this, at the time, had nothing to do with that. The driver had gotten his license, and they switched. They were on I-20 in Texas. They switched out, and they were hoping to beat some weather ahead, but they didn't. So the driver, the trainer was still in the sleeper. The driver was coming into the bad weather. They said he was actually in the bad weather for less than 5 miles. They said he was doing under the speed limit, and all of a sudden, a pickup truck came from the other side of the road. It was a family. I forget how many people were killed. I think 3 people were killed, maybe 4. And hey, Richard. And one of them had serious brain damage. Anyway, so they're coming east. The Werner truck was going west, heading for California, and the pickup truck lost control, came across the median, and straight into the Werner truck. Okay, the Werner truck says it did slow down. He did slow down or try to slow down, but he was on some bad roads, and there wasn't too much he could do. It came across the median straight into him. So again, had his license, even though he didn't have his license for long. I don't know that matters. It's a shame that this happened to him, at this point in his career. But truck came across right into him. And if you saw the thumbnail, that actually was the picture from the scene. You don't really see much of anything. I couldn't even tell what kind of Werner truck it was. And I couldn't tell, of course, we couldn't tell what the pickup truck was. So years ago, went through a big, long court battle, and Werner was ordered to pay. Yeah, I know. So Werner was ordered to pay $100 million. Well, it was actually $95 million, but I guess when you appeal something, if the verdict is held up, they have to, it continues to gain interest, and now it's at $100 million. Went through an appeals process, and Werner lost again. In the original court document, here was the arguments, and this is what they're going to continue to do. This is now in the Supreme Court. It just went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court accepted it. Because as you know, the Supreme Court is given cases and they don't have to look at them. I mean, they'll look at them and then they'll say, we're not doing nothing with that. But this one they did accept, and they are hearing it. So here's what the lawyers are saying. Werner's lawyers are saying exactly what you'd think Werner's lawyers were saying. The guy did nothing wrong. He was driving down the road. He was going under the speed limit. Yes, he was on bad roads, but he was going under the speed limit and was safely in his lane, everything, up until the point that a pickup truck came across. So did nothing wrong. And it's not even a driving too fast for conditions thing, because how do you give somebody a ticket for driving too fast for conditions when nothing happened because of them driving? So the argument, and I do not know how they got 12 jurors to fall for this. And I wanted to look into it and I forgot to. I wanted to look into it, but I didn't have time to. I wanted to see if this particular case, if it needed 12 jurors or if it just needed 7 or 6, I don't know. But the argument was that the weather conditions, they felt that the Werner truck was driving too fast. Obviously, he wasn't, because he didn't wreck until a pickup truck came across the road from the other side and right into him. And they're saying that if the driver had better training, he would have slowed down farther, and therefore he wouldn't have been there. That's actually the argument. Looked at. Now, there is some legal mumbo jumbo that goes into that, with laws going back 100 years and saying that truck drivers or anybody needs to be able to avoid things that happen. and they need to also be in charge of, they also have to watch out for those around them. He did watch out for those around him. He saw him coming. He tried to slow down. It came across the median straight into him. Here's the other thing. This guy had only been in this weather for about 5 miles. The pickup truck that crossed over him had been in it for over an hour and was way more aware of the road conditions than this person. So now it gets through appeal. And, in appeal, they basically look over the case and see if anything was wrong. Now it's going to the Supreme Court and it's actually going to be looked at. And I cannot imagine, and I say Supreme Court, I mean the Texas State Supreme Court. It's not going to the U.S. Supreme Court. I don't know if it can after that. Honey, I don't know. I think it did say that the pickup truck was speeding, or maybe they didn't know, or he was going the speed limit, which, I mean, this is Texas and it was in Odessa, or outside of Odessa. So I don't know. I've been there, but I don't have a lot of experience. I don't know, Dad, you know that area real well. Is that an 85-mile zone there or an 80-mile zone? Yeah. So, yeah, so here we have a driver, did nothing wrong. And so I was reading through what they're going to the Supreme Court with, and this is still what they're saying, that because the driver was so inexperienced, that he should have, I don't know if it was in town or not, Dad. I really don't. But yeah, because this driver was so inexperienced that he didn't have, that they said Werner didn't train him better. In the end, what happens is if they divide up between all parties involved, the accident was less than 50% of the company's fault, then they give it to, they can't award it. So here's how this was divided up. The accident was 70% Werner's fault because they trained the driver. 3% the driver of the truck's fault, which I forget the driver of the truck's name. So yeah, no, Mitchell, they did. They assigned 27% of the fault to the pickup truck driver. So yeah, so 70% was Werner's fault because they trained this driver who properly drove his truck in the bad weather. But if he had slowed down a little bit more, he wouldn't have been there. And yes, that is the case. That's basically the whole case. I mean, except for some mumbo jumbo. And then in the story that I just read from Freight Waves today, they did talk a lot about the different laws that were cited and cases from the past that were cited. It's actually a pretty good article. And if you can stay awake through that stuff, I recommend you go on the Freight Waves. It just came out today. But that is everything that I got out of this case. Yeah, I don't even know. I think I've been to Odessa twice or through Odessa. And in fact, I think the last time I went through Odessa, it was actually middle of the night. So yeah, anyway, so that's the whole case. And now it's at the Supreme Court. And I really hope, and this is, when an accident happens and somebody dies, somebody does have to pay. But the problem is that cars don't carry enough insurance on them. And really, trucks don't either. When you think about it, $1 million liability insurance in today's age with the cost of medical and everything. The problem is these big companies can be sued for more. They can actually go after the company directly. It's been happening a lot. And they're going after the money. The fact is that all money that was paid out should have come from that pickup truck, from that pickup truck's insurance. Yeah, Mitchell, that's exactly what they said. That's what they're saying. In the wording, that's pretty much the exact wording. If he was trained better, he would have slowed down more. And maybe he would have, maybe he wouldn't have. Maybe he would have been going faster if he was trained more. Maybe he would have had more snow experience. That's the problem. They never actually said the exact speed. And to tell you the truth, I read an article way back that I thought said that he was going 35 miles an hour, but I could not find that article again. And I do so many stories like this that I may have had that one mixed up with something else. Yeah, because I looked back, it was an older article. So, I can't even tell what kind of truck hit him. I believe I saw it one time. It was a Ford pickup truck that came across. Must have been a pretty big one, a crew cab, because I think there was 6 people in it. A 2-year-old died. The driver, I believe the driver's mom. Uh, yeah, it's a very sorry accident. Somebody does have to pay, but it cannot be that. It can't be Werner. It's just not. These, when these nuclear verdicts are coming out, here's something to think about. And actually, I'm probably going to do a story. OIDA just came out with a big story, and I read it, and I just haven't gotten to doing anything about it, about what these nuclear verdicts are doing to the industry. And they're costing you and me. And by that, I mean everybody on here, not just the truck drivers. It's costing you at home. If they got to pay more for shipping, if they got, it's just everything else, things that drive inflation. And this just can't keep happening. Think about this. After that Wabash verdict, every single one of us that has a trailer can be sued. And now they have a case where it was won. So if somebody can drive under your trailer, you can be sued. That guy hit him at 55 miles an hour. They say that, older trucks when the wheels were to the back, that didn't happen. I don't know. I have my wheels. I mean, 48-foot flatbed, and it's a spread axle. I think you hit it at 55, you're going under. I'm a dead stop. You're 55. I think you're going to break that ICC, and I think you're going to break that rear axle right off. Maybe not cause as much damage. But think about this. What if they hit you from the side? They're saying the problem is there's not enough protection to keep cars from going underneath. So, yeah, this is a problem. And these are 2 ridiculous verdicts that I could think of. The one about Freightliner, you'd have to know a whole lot more about it, but it is absorbent. In that one, the truck driver that was in the accident is paraplegic or I don't think he's the real bad one, and I get them mixed up. I think he's the one that's paralyzed. I think he's paralyzed from the waist down, not his whole body, but still, horrible situation. But yeah, these nuclear verdicts are just out of hand, and it's getting crazy. And this one with Werner, I just can't believe it got this far. I can't believe it ever got through a jury. I mean, can you imagine these lawyers? Maybe it was a great lawyer, but thank you, honey, paraplegic. He was a great lawyer, and but I mean, the money Werner has, I'm sure they had some pretty good lawyers in there too. So yeah, it was just something to, bring attention to something that's going on, because this is another problem amongst all the other problems we have. We all know about the, people who don't even have licenses here driving trucks, and, all that great stuff. But does it get nasty? I'd never been there in bad weather. I can tell you one of the worst towns I ever was in the snow was Amarillo. I guess it's just because it's elevated like that. And it wasn't even a big snow. It was like one of those storms that comes through, and it had covered the town a little bit. And it was just, Amarillo was horrible. I mean, we were going through there, 25 miles an hour. And I really think it's because the highway was so elevated. But again, I don't have a lot of experience in Odessa. And don't really knows about it. Yeah, Texans don't know how to drive in the snow. I don't know. It seems like they get a lot of snow down there lately. I mean, there was that incident. Well, they get a lot of ice too. That incident down there in Dallas last week or last year. I think it was last year. Maybe it was 2 years ago. But yeah, it sure seems. I remember a couple years ago, a buddy of mine was in El Paso in the snow, and another buddy of mine was in Salt Lake City in like 60-degree weather. It was crazy. So anyway, guys, anybody got anything to comment? Anybody know anything about that story, or got anything more to comment about that? Or oh my God, Zip Tie, we all remember Atlanta a few years ago. Thank God I wasn't there. I have a friend who lives in Atlanta now, and he's a truck driver, but he moved to Atlanta a couple years ago, and we were down there visiting him. We were over at their cousin's house, having a cookout and stuff. And he is a contractor that works. And he has a dually pickup. Dually pickup. I don't remember if it's 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. Has he had a trailer behind him, and he got out of Atlanta, just got off the Beltway into 20, but he said everything was shut down, and he lived about 30 miles from there. Said he actually ended up pulling off the highway into a gas station, getting a 6-pack of beer, sitting there waiting, taking a nap. He said he went home like 8 hours after the snow ended. He was actually able to get home. Yeah, I remember that. What did they have at the time? Like 4 plow trucks? Like 285 had 4 plow trucks or something? But yeah, I don't know. Weather's been so weird lately. I mean, I didn't totally look into what happened up there where everybody got stranded up near Buffalo the other day, but I don't know. Apparently that wasn't even called for, which they're pretty good at calling for lake effect now. But I guess they didn't even know it was coming. It was never on any reports or nothing. Nothing was treated for it. It just lake effect just came up and wiped it out. I don't know. I didn't really look into it too much. I just saw that it happened. Yeah. Honey, I'm pretty sure Werner is self-employed. I can imagine with their size. They're self-employed and can handle it. My face look orange. Does it look orange to you guys? Oh, that looks worse. Let me change this. Hold on. Oh, let's turn it down. There we go. That looks a little better. A little bit, anyway. Yeah, self-insured. Sorry. 60 inches. Is that what it was, Zip Tie? Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, so that's good. Yeah. All right. So what's going on out there in the trucking world? Anything else special going on before we do a little bit of music trivia? Because I'm pumped for this one. I don't know who all's in here that was actually on the Tony Justice. I was actually just on the Tony Justice thing. I know Mitchell was. I know a couple other people that are on my channel were, but I don't know who's in here for it. All right. Well, anyway, let's ask some questions in this. Oh, there's Randy. Yeah, Randy, I knew you were there. All right. So this one we're going to answer right here where you guys all just commented. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do trucking trivia. Apparently a lumber truck rolled over on 81. Oh my gosh, there was an accident on I-81? That never happens. That's sarcasm, by the way. Especially up here in Pennsylvania. I think that's become one of our worst roads. It used to be one of the best roads, but really all of 81 is really horrible to run anymore. I guess just too much truck traffic. But anyway, I'm going to do 2 trivia questions. Actually, I'm going to do 3 trivia questions. I'm going to do 2 Tony Justice questions. And what happened, Richard? Let me know. But I'm going to do a music trivia question, a regular trucking music trivia question. And of course, for those of you who don't know, you answer the question. The first person to answer the question, usually on Facebook, but today we're going to do it right here. So get 2 entries. Each winner gets 5 bull snot products. Those 5 bull snot products for each trivia. That's going to be pulled. That's going to be pulled on January 1st. And this will actually be, although my next video is going to say it's round 6 because I already made the next video. But it's going to be round 6. But yeah, we'll just do this a special one because it's going to have 2 Tony Justice and it's going to have just 1 regular trucking trivia. Although I will do a bonus trivia. I'll give you 3 entries. If within the next 20 seconds in the song I've Been Everywhere, you can name every song, every town he's been to in the song. By the way, nobody's going to be able to do that. Don't even try to do it. So that was actually going to be my trivia question, but I decided no, that would take too long. No, Zip Tie didn't just win. I didn't ask any questions. The only question I asked was a joke. Yeah, he's been everywhere. Yeah. Well, Richard, I'll give you a call here in a little bit after this and make sure everything's okay. But anyway, so now I got to think of what the question was I was going to ask. I know what it was. Well, let's do a Tony Justice first, then we'll do the trucker music trivia in the middle, and then another Tony Justice question at the end. Because I'm pretty pumped about Tony Justice. So I don't know, those of you that were in there, I don't know if you were in there from the beginning. And at the beginning, he debuted a song. And it's a great song. I can't wait to actually hear it. He said he recorded it, but it's not out yet. It was his debut. They did it acoustic. And he did a couple other songs, but this was his debut. What was the name of the song? And you can answer that at any time. My wife's upstairs. She can't even answer this one. But it was a great song. I can't wait for it to come out. Anyway, so a driver. This has been recorded by 4 different people. A driver has a truck, and he made his last payment today. He's been everywhere from New York City to LA. What kind of truck's he driving? This one's going to get answered fast. You got it, Randy Brooks. Good job. Little late, Zip Tie. Little late, Zip Tie. Yeah, but you know what? You're a page member. I'll give you some bull snot stuff anyway. But no, Mitchell. I got a Freightliner and I made my last payment today. I've been to every point from New York City to LA. That's the closest you're ever going to get me to sing on the channel. So, and it's for everybody's. Anyway, does anybody know the name of the song that Tony Justice just debuted? Okay. I'm going to make you guys scramble here in a bit, but Zip Tie. No, you can't, honey. No. You can have all the bull snot products you want. They're all out in the garage. There you go, Mitchell. You got it. Mitchell Clark is in again. So, Jason, Zip Tie Securement. Oh, got an itch. Next question. Next question. What is Tony Justice's favorite trucking song of all time? One, he was talking about this towards the end. In fact, it was actually somebody from my channel that asked him. Oh, zip tie. You know what? I'm going to give it to you. I don't know how you knew to say that way before, if it was just a dumb guess, but yep. Zip tie beat you on that one, Mitchell. That was funny. We're not even talking about trivia yet, and he's putting Phantom 309 in. And I swear I didn't tell anybody what these questions were going to be. All right. So, let me write this down quick. He's got more on here. Randy Brooks has a. Which one did you get? So, Randy Brooks got a music trivia. So now he's on Tony Justice and music trivia. And Jason Myers, aka Zip Tie Securement, got a Tony Justice, and so did Mitchell Clark, who now has 4 entries in this. Yep, 1, 2, 3 on Tony Justice, and 1 for music trivia. Here's a little secret I will tell you guys that are watching this, or those of you who watch it later, that tomorrow's music trivia, tomorrow's video, I have a video coming out tomorrow, and it's going to come out at 6 p.m., and that has 2 more questions on it. It was actually a video I was going to do tonight, and then I saw Tony Justice's thing. He was doing his thing tonight, and I just had to see it. And then I thought, I'd do a live, because at the same time I read this story about Werner. So decided to check that out. So anyway, you know what? Now it's uneven. I got 2 music trivia. You know what? How about this? Because my dad is not allowed to ask or because he's not allowed to participate, because he knows where to get Bull Snot products. Dad, ask a music trivia question, and then hopefully get an answer. So don't make it too hard. By the way, he's known most of the answers to these questions. And I'll give him a couple questions. I'll give him a couple minutes to write in. Guys, this music trivia has been pretty fun. And I'm actually thinking about putting together I'm actually thinking about putting together a live, but I'll schedule that about a week out. I'll figure out a time when I know I'm going to be around, get some questions, maybe 10 or 15 questions. I don't know. We'll have a separate prize. Maybe we'll just have a separate prize for that day, because it's a different platform and not everybody can be there. It's a whole different thing. But yeah, I am setting this up. Hopefully, maybe halfway through this, maybe the second week of December or something. Maybe when we're all stressed and about to lose our minds, because every person driving a car turns their brain off from Thanksgiving till Christmas. I mean, even more so than usual. So yeah, but I am going to do something like that, and I think I'm going to do a separate prize for it. By the way, the prizes for these aren't just the Bull Snot products behind me, which are, well, it's the 2 kinds of visible, the rocket spray, and yeah, it's the rocket spray visible and the regular visible. It's the one in the middle is the tire shine or tire butter. Oh, Dashable. And Hideable, which is leather cleaner and conditioner. It's going to be them, but Van Brown, the guy who owns Bull Snot, invented it, owns it, sells it. He's pretty much the whole company. He got word about this because I texted it to him, and he said, "Well, hey, let me know who the winners are when you pick them, and I will send them a hat, a Bull Snot hat, and I bet it's not this one because this is his old hat. He just on the Tony Justice thing had his new hat on. It's says Bull Snot and has stacks up and yeah, it's pretty cool. But he's going to send a hat to them too. So when you win this, you'll get 2 packages, one from me and one from Van Brown. Is my dad not there? I know he doesn't type that slow. Or maybe he's trying to think of a trucking trivia question. And there's only 13 people left in here, so you don't have too many people to fight with. So anyway, the video goes up tomorrow, and at about 6:15, I'll put them on Facebook. That's where you got to answer them now. So yeah, that song. Mitchell, did you actually hear Outlaw's Last Ride? Were you on there when he played it, or did you just look that up? It was a pretty cool song, and the whole story is it's actually another songwriter and friend of his. His father-in-law was a truck driver, and he died and got cremated, and he wanted spread all over the country at certain places, and they went on this trip. All over the country and spread his ashes, except for the last little bit. Now, this guy isn't a truck driver also, except for the last little bit of his ashes are in a jar, and Tony Justice is the truck driver they know, and he's just supposed to drive down the road and dump it out of a rig. It's supposed to just be spread out of a rig. So, yeah, but it's a pretty cool song, and he said, he had this idea, and, they did it, and oh, here's a problem. Why is this thing not down like it's supposed to be? We'll take your first one, Dad. I'm sorry, I didn't have it down here. Yeah, we'll go with the first one. Who wrote and recorded CB Savage? I don't think it was Red Sovine. Get off the Red Sovine kick. Has it been answered right yet, Dad? Because I don't remember who it was. I remember the song. It was Rod Hart. Trucking goes this truck. Go. Yep, you're right, Emily. It was Rod Hart. Dad, you can't ask 3 questions. We're only doing 1. Yep. So Emily Cochran is in for music trivia. Anyway, I was actually thinking about CV Savage the other day, and for those of you guys that don't know the song, it's almost disturbing, but it's funny. It's funny that you said White Knight after that, Dak. It's kind of the same premise for what happened, but CB Savage was horrible, or especially for the time when you think about when he came out with it. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let you know when I'm going to do a live, like I said, maybe in a week or 2, something like that. Yeah, but I'll let you guys know ahead of time when I'm going to do it. So maybe you could schedule it. I think it'll be like on a Sunday night. I don't know. You know what? There's 16 people in here. Whoever votes, Sunday or Saturday. Which day is better for you guys? It'll probably be in the evening about the same time. I don't like to do them too late, but I don't want to do them too early either because I'm on the East Coast and, you know, we got 3 time zones after me. Zip tie securement. Decided to call my truck Old Hippie. I like that one. That's a good name for that truck. It's yeah, that is a good name for that truck. Yep. That truck's been through a lot, but it's pretty much Zip tie's truck is pretty much identical to mine. Actually, in certain lights, you'd think they're both black, but his is a real nice dark brown color. And but it's we're the same year and everything, right? We're both 06. Both 06, both have C15 cats, 18 speed, 355s. It's pretty much identical trucks. But he's got a good old truck, but he had to put a lot of work into it to keep it that way. So Old Hippie, that's a good one. Hey Metro, I appreciate it. And I appreciate all you put into it too. You know what I mean? You're, one of the top commenters on the Facebook page and everything else. And I appreciate all you guys. And this is a lot of fun. Yeah, especially doing this trivia. I'm hoping I can keep doing it after this. Maybe it'll even get bigger and maybe it'll even get bigger. More people wanting to get involved with the trivia because it's a lot of fun. And there's so many songs out there. We could even do like easy trivia for newcomers that are coming in that may not know too well. You know what I mean? Things like, who wrote Eastbound and Down? Or, who's the most famous truck driver in the world that never drove a truck? The Bandit. It's always bothered me. They call him a famous truck driver. He never drove a truck. I mean, I know he drove it to Snowman's house, but then Snowman drove the truck. Anyway. Oh, Cletus Maggart. Mitchell, definitely. Last year, there were people there that had reached out to me, and we didn't have anything set up. And I think I'm going to start setting up times or something this year because there's a few people, that want to meet me there. And I'm not big enough to have a stand or anything. And I don't really want to have a stand. I mean, me and my wife love mats, and we've been doing it so long. We actually have it laid out, like how we do it. Like we do one half the first day and then the second half the next day. And then Saturday, we go back and maybe double check, things that we wanted to go back to. We'll go check out again. I don't see ever just sitting at a booth there. There is way too much to see. I learned so much there every year. This year, the big thing was Truck Parking Club, which I'm working with. I'm working with because I did a video about them right afterwards, because after I looked into their program and everything, what they're doing, I was like, my God, this is like ingenious. This is absolutely ingenious. They are solving the parking problem, or helping solve the parking problem, without the government. It's their idea, not the government. And I love the product, and we're working with them. They're going to sponsor some videos. I'm going to have an affiliate code where you get a discount and things like that. And that's right, Metro. Yeah, you couldn't be there. But and if you still have my phone number, you can give me a call anytime. But yeah, that's right. There was somebody else that was there, and we just kept missing it. And I'm thinking, I got to tell you, there's a place to eat that's right at the end of it that a lot of people don't know about. And you go into, and it's basically a buffet. The food's mediocre and costs a lot, but so does everything else there. But it doesn't get too busy in there. And I'm thinking about like saying, hey, me and Terry are going to be here at this time on this day. We'll meet up with you there. And if not, maybe we can meet up somewhere else. Last year, my truck was there. I think it's going to be there again. Not showing. We were out in the parking lot. By the way, the parking lot across the street from there, that is party central, after it gets dark. So I might say, where you can meet me over at the truck or something, but I'd like to set up just for the people that want to see. Mitchell, tickets to Tony's show will be no problem. I'll first of all, they give the tickets out there, and they've never filled a show. No, I've never heard of that, Emily. I've never seen him fill a show. Now Tony might actually fill a show because this is his, like I said in the thing, this is his stage. He should have been headlining all along. This is his stage. I like the artists that they've had there, but they're not the trucking. They're not the trucking music guy, and he's just about the only one around anymore. Leland Martin was doing it for a while, and I've heard he's kind of retired. But yeah, Tony just is about the only one doing it anymore. So, but Mitchell, tickets are always free, and I guarantee I can get some tickets. First, I'll ask Van, then I'll ask Tony, and of course, Bennett is sponsoring it. So, yeah, it won't be a problem. My fellow YouTuber friend that I'm sure a lot of you guys know, Brett from Patriot Specialized in Heavy Haul. He works for Bennett. Well, he works for A Storm, but yes, Dad, the Buck is still going on, but it's not Truckers Day at the Buck anymore. They don't do the pools and everything, or maybe they do the pools. I don't know what it is. Something's different, but yeah, I've missed it. Yeah, they hand them out at the Bennett booth, and we always get them ahead of time, or did we get them there last year? I don't know. Anyway, yes, zip tie. Yeah, Gerhardt still happens, and I've never been there, and I want to. The Max, the old things. Yeah, I've never been to Gerhardt's show. I know it's a small show, but it's yeah, I've never been up there, but zip tie, you ought to make arrangements to go to Mid America this year. And in fact, I'll tell you where we found that we stay. That's real close to there. If you want to know, just reach out to me. We've stayed there about 3 years now, and it's usually about the best price rooms around. No, it still costs a bit of money. I think we pay $100 a day. But yeah, I'll actually see if I can get some tickets ahead of time. I probably can get some tickets ahead of time and give them out to people or meet them there. But zip tie, if you want to go down, let us know. We can figure out a way to carpool, or I don't know. Neither of my cars is big enough for all of us, but oh wow, Emily, I missed it last year. I gotta tell you, it seems like that Buck is always on the hottest day of the year. So, well, that'll be there too. Last year we arranged it. We were both there, and I think it worked out good what we did last year, which is I drove and I was there, and then my dad met me there, and my wife flew in. So then instead of missing a whole week of work, she was able to basically work Monday and Tuesday, fly in Wednesday. The airport's right there. She rented a car right at the airport and came to us. We had a car for the whole weekend, and then she left on, I believe she left Saturday afternoon and got home, was able to do her weekend stuff and get back out. So, yeah, zip tie, I'm recovering too. But I'll tell you, it's worth it. When you actually think about the whole show is free. Now, not spending money there is pretty hard, but the show is free. And actually, I had VIP tickets the one year, and I didn't this last year. I got to see if I can get VIP tickets again. The VIP is nice because on Saturday the show opened a little bit early, but yeah, Emily, yeah, the Buck, yeah, down there. It's always so hot that day. I love truck shows and I hate heat, and somehow they just don't mix together. I get to a couple every year, but Mid American's the big one. Well, Mid American's the one that we go to. We don't even. I mean, the show trucks are fun. Quite frankly, show trucks at Mid-American are way too over the top for me anymore. I enjoy them, but they're all sponsored. They're all $500,000 trucks. A lot of times the ones that are inside are a lot more fun because they're antiques. And yeah, I remember that, Dad. Yeah, they're, a lot of the ones inside are antiques that guys have restored, but they put their time on. A lot of everything outside is brand new. Troy Massey, and I mean, I love Troy Massey. He has a huge company. But he, does big builds all the time. A lot of it's the Dickerson custom trucks. For those of you guys who saw the video I did on American Dream, that I was parked beside at Iowa 80, it was great. But so we do go out and look at the show trucks. But if we actually if we had to give something up, it would be the show trucks. It's mainly the convention inside. Is everything you ever wanted to know about trucking. New products. If there is a new product in trucking, it's in there. And just a great place. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, Mitchell, a lot of them are inside. In fact, there's one guy there that has this display. It's always inside there. 4 or 5 trucks. They're old Internationals. And I mean really old Internationals. And didn't restore any of them. They still they got their scars on them. They're in there with their scars and everything. Yeah, Mitchell, don't pay for anything without reaching out to me. I'm pretty sure that I know enough people now that can get that for me. Because I'm working with Bull Snot so much now. He always has a stand there, and they get some. Basically, everybody that has a stand gets some. Actually, the ones we got it from was Landstar the one time, because Landstar gets a big stand there, and they put it out to drivers. In fact, my dad had told me, he said, hey, they just offered VIP tickets. So I said, all right. They had 100 of them. And if you were one of the first 100 people to respond to them, you got them. They sent them to us. Another time, Road Pro gave them to us. They're not very hard to come by. So don't pay for anything. You got time, we'll talk about it. But I've never paid to go in Mid-America, and I've never paid for the VIP or really anything involved with Mid-America except for product and food. So, yeah, no reason to ever pay for anything there. There's always a way to get it, and I'll see what I can get for you. And but anyway, guys, we went on for almost an hour here, and you see Zip Tie Securement, his name lists up differently because he's a member of the page. And actually so is my wife's, because I made her be a member so that she could see the stuff that comes out before I actually release it. Yeah, we're saying Dan's at Mercer. Yeah. Yeah, Super Trucker Dan. Yeah, we actually have some video of that. Yeah, Super Trucker Dan was there. He had his truck parked beside the Mercer booth, which the Mercer booth is incredible. Remember, they're from Louisville. That's their hometown. So they spend the money to put on a show there. And Super Trucker Dan's truck was there, and Bailey, was there. In fact, I even got on video. I was like, hey, Super Trucker Dan, how you doing? He's like, hey. I was like, yeah. I said, nobody wants to see you. I said, I got video of Bailey. He said, yeah, that's where. And Bailey was just sitting up in the truck looking out at everybody. But yeah, like Dad said, Dad rents a scooter there in his excessive age. I actually rented a scooter one time years ago too. And yeah, they're expensive, but you can get around. And yeah, Mitchell, get in touch with me. And anybody else who wants to get in touch with me sometime, reach out to me, email. I would never do something stupid like put my phone number on YouTube, only because it's my personal phone number so much out there. But those of you guys that I know, email me. It's finchresources@gmail.com. I don't have the ability to put it down here right now like I do, but you can email me anytime. Say, hey, this is who this is, and yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Dad. Didn't mean to call you old. Anyway, guys, this is just about empty. And all you guys, hey, it was great. This was a fun live, and I opened it up with the Werner thing, but I knew that would go pretty quick, and we get the other stuff. You guys keep watching the videos for music trivia and keep following on Facebook. Check it out. But I will give about a week's notice. I'll discuss with my wife and everything else, because usually when I'm here, she's upstairs. Um, she's upstairs actually moderating and reading the stuff while I'm talking. I read a bit of it, but she sits upstairs watching it, reading it, and seeing what's going on. So, if she answers, she's answering for both of us usually. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot. And like I say, anybody reach out to me, but keep following. Tomorrow's video probably won't get as much watch as the rest of them, because this is a feel-good video. But after all the negative stuff that's been going on in the industry, I was like, you know what? I need to absolutely zip tie. We can do that. We'll talk. All the negative stuff has been going. A lot of the videos are negative, especially that super ego driver that killed the guy and then they had to chase him down to Pennsylvania. I got a lot of views out of that, and that's great, but it starts to get to you after a while, the negative stuff. Then I heard, CDL Life had two great stories about great people in the trucking industry and what they did. One guy, what he did was, I don't know, not much. He didn't do a whole lot, but what he did just shows, the heart of the trucking industry. And the way I feel that, I don't know, I'd like to say 90% of the industry, but I don't even know if that's right. But my viewers are those guys, everybody in here, Mitchell, Zip Tie, Richard's in here. He's a retired trucker, but man, Richard was a car hauler, and he had a Dodge. He had one of the Dodges, and and I mean a big truck Dodge. There weren't many of them. Send me a picture. I'll actually have to put it on the channel sometime. But anyway, guys, don't need to drag us out anymore. Reach out to me, but keep watching. And thanks a lot, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.